opening statement. So let's just start with Mr. Bailey. Why don't you give a 1 minute opening statement? My apologies.
1 minute. So, 2 minutes?
Oh, you took 2. Okay, go ahead. That's fine. We're off to a great start.
Most people know me, but my name is James Bailey. I'm 53 years old. I live out in the northeast Cabarrus area. My family, I was born in West Virginia, but we moved down here in 1982 or 83, I can't remember, but went to school here in Cabarrus County Schools, graduated from Northwest Cabarrus High School, and attended East Carolina University, where I have a master's degree in criminal justice and criminal justice education. Started my career at the Cabarrus County Sheriff's Office in 1995. Started in a detention center, worked my way to patrol, and then ultimately went through the ranks of patrol to where in 2018, when Sheriff Shaw was elected, he made me the chief deputy, his first chief deputy. Part of my role as chief deputy was to formulate the budget every year. At that time, the budget for the Sheriff's Office was around $50 million. That does include the detention center, healthcare, feeding the inmates, patrol, CID, which is criminal investigations, all of that. Through the budget process, I had an opportunity, obviously, to work with county management, the county manager's office, the county commissioners. It also afforded me the opportunity to meet our state and federal legislators, and we were able to have a lot of good conversations. I specifically remember having a meeting with Dan Bishop about the 287G program, which was very good. So I retired in 2023, took about a year off, and I started now for almost 2 years as the Assistant Director of Campus Health, Safety, Security at Rowan Cabarrus. I didn't want to run, but I decided to run because I felt like that the county commissioners were hyper-partisan, hyper-political, that decisions were being made as groupthink instead of individuals being on the board, making decisions that they individually felt like were the right decisions to make. So I'm looking forward to this process and this campaign. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey. Mr. Conrad.
Good evening. I'm David Conrad, and I'm running for commissioner to help make Cabarrus County a place where people can afford to live and thrive. Across our county, tax bills are climbing higher and higher. And last year, the county took in about $36 million in tax revenue, more than they've had in previous years, in fact, the highest on record. And then turned around and spent $40 million, leaving taxpayers on the hook for even more. That is not a revenue problem, it is a spending problem. It happens when county leaders see extra revenue as an opportunity to fund their own initiatives than the county's real needs. Families I talk to here have to make tough financial decisions every day, and the county governments have to do the same thing. We can't keep overspending and asking taxpayers to cover it. We must cut the waste, protect tax dollars, and focus on essential core services. I'm not running to make promises I can't keep. I'm running to do the work that needs to be done. I've lived here for over 2 decades. I've raised a family here. I've built businesses here, and I've served my community. I've seen what's good, and like most of you, I've seen what needs fixing, and I'm here to help fix what needs fixing. If you believe Cabarrus County deserves a leader that works for the people, then I would appreciate your vote.
Mr. Gardner.
My name is Kason Gardner. I'm a lifelong Cabarrus County resident, born and raised in Concord. I graduated from Catawba College in May of 2024 with honors with a degree in economics and finance. Shortly after, I became a financial analyst at a Concord startup dealing in property management. I began educating myself at a very young age on the inner workings of government at all levels, including becoming well-versed in parliamentary procedure, which are the rules that govern governmental affairs, having placed as a national finalist in the category at the 2024 Future Business Leaders of America National Conference. I've participated in mock general assemblies, lobbied for bills at the state capitol, one of which was very dear to my heart, authored by Representative Jim Jordan at the time having to deal with parental rights regarding the medical treatment of their children. I've also served as a Cabarrus County Youth Commissioner from 2016 to 2020. And with my background in finance, my company has used my ideas to double revenue in the last year. I'm running to increase government transparency and accountability, fiscal responsibility, and to improve community engagement. I thank you for your time.
Ms. Hughes.
Good evening, I'm Alexis Hughes. We all know I am terrible at staying on track with time frames, hence the actual speech. So what I'm gonna do tonight, introducing myself, is I'm gonna skip the feel-good parts and just get right to it. One thing you guys need to know about me is I am a relentless warrior for those I love. There are two things in this world that I do not play about, and that is my children and my husband. When I decided to run, I added a third, and that is the taxpayers of Cabarrus County. Let's call tonight what it is. Tonight is a battle, so I will pull no punches to avoid hurting feelings. If the truth offends you or hurts your feelings, grow thicker skin or change your actions. I'm a wife, a mother of three, a small business owner, and the Planning and Zoning Commissioner for the town of Midland. I'm not part of a country club, and I didn't get here through my political connections. I got here through hard work, grit, and determination, and by telling the truth, even when it pissed powerful people off. I'm backed by real families who are fed up. Families who see frivolous spending running rampant. Families tired of political tantrums, character assassinations, and hurt feelings replacing real policy discussions. Families who watch campaign donations traded for influence and powerful friends protected at the taxpayer's expense. And then those same taxpayers are gaslit or told to sit down, stay quiet, and just accept it because we in office know best. That is not leadership. That is not conservatism. We've seen all of the multi-billion-dollar spending. What I want to let you guys know right now, I'm not running to be liked by the political class in this county. I'm running to be respected by you, the people that pay the tax bills. If you want polite, predictable, and political safety, I'm not your candidate. Don't vote for me. If you want someone who will stand on that dais and fight for you every single time, no matter who it upsets, I would be honored to earn your vote. Thank you.
Mr. Richards.
Thanks for being here, Brett. I'm Barry Richards. First things first, I need your vote. It doesn't do any of us any good to come up here and not get your vote, and I want your vote. I'm born and bred in Cabarrus County, live on the same land I've been on since 1735. I need your vote because I'm going to be the one that's going to simply cut expenditures. There's others up here will too, but I'm going to cut expenditures and then hopefully, not a promise, going to lower your taxes. I hope, we have public safety we have to take care of, and you don't need it until you need it. When I got my house broke in, and Van Shaw and his people showed up quite quickly, and I appreciated that. But I need you guys to understand that I'm conservative, being conservative, I'm fiscal, I'm orthodox, I'm constitutional, and I'm conservative. I may not remember to say everything I want to say, but Chris Cranston just came in here and I just did a little video with him. If you want to see everything that I think I'll remember, it's with Chris Cranston, his videos. So go to his videos, look at it. I think you'll be pleased with it. If I forget to say something tonight, that's okay, but here I am. I am here for you and you alone. And it's all about the taxes. And I want to keep Cabarrus County great. And I know that I'm going to doge as good as anybody out there because I can look at a budget. I know what a budget looks like. I've performed budgets as I've administered budgets. I can do all of that. I've been in local government. I've done federal and state grants, and I can build stuff. but we need to cut, and that's what we're gonna do first.
Ms. Swayze.
Hi, my name is Crystal Swayze. I was born and raised here in Cabarrus County. I went to Shady Brook Elementary School, Kannapolis Middle School, and graduated from A.L. Brown. Following that, I went to the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, where I received a degree in sociology and history. Do you know what you can do with a degree with sociology and history? Nothing, unless you want to be a teacher or a social worker. And that was not the path I went to. My mother was a teacher here in Cabarrus County for 30 years. And the things that I saw there with the people and the classrooms, it wasn't what I wanted to do. So I went to Chapel Hill and I went to work for Blue Cross Blue Shield. And with that, I was working in the independent insurance policies. And you know what I got to do then? That was lots of fun. I would get to tell people who maybe owned their own hair salon and she had breast cancer, but it was pre-existing, so she couldn't get coverage. So that was lots of fun also. So then I came back to Cabarrus County and got a job here because I wanted to be where I grew up. I got a job. I worked with them for about 4 or 5 years, and then I realized that I wanted to be the boss of my own company. I didn't want somebody else telling me from Minnesota that, hey, you can do this, this, and this, and give us 50% of your money, and we're not going to help you do the things that you do need to do for your community. If you want to sponsor one of the local ball teams, do that. So I started my own company, and yes, I'm the table cover lady, and just so you know, my table covers are much nicer than these. They last for 15 years or so. But anyways, I sell quality products. I've sold to the county for nearly 20 years. I love this county. I'm a taxpayer. I don't know why anybody would think I would want to overcharge something that I'm paying for out of my own pocket. And when I say my table covers last for 15 years, they last for 15 years. So I know a lot of you in this room probably won't support me because of, you name me the table cover lady, but I will guarantee you I will do everything in my power to support every taxpayer in Cabarrus County.
Mr. Patrick.
Good evening. My name is Ian Patrick, and I'm also asking for your vote. I'm currently sitting on the County Board of Commissioners. I was appointed by the good people of the Republican Party. Oh, that better? I was appointed by the good people of the Republican Party last December to fill the open seat. I was unanimously voted by the board and also again unanimously voted to be board vice chair. I previously served 2 terms on the Harrisburg Town Council, where I also chaired the Board of Adjustment. I moved to Cabarrus County while I was attending UNC Charlotte, where I earned 2 degrees in architecture. I also met my wife there, who's here with us, along with my 2 beautiful children, 15 and 6. We own an architecture firm together, and we employ 9 people. My community ties include membership to the North Carolina Economic Development Association, the Construction Professionals Network, SCUP, which is Society of College and University Planners, and I'm also a disaster relief inspector for North Carolina SEER. During my time on Harrisburg Town Council, we reduced residential approvals by 96%. We added an entire sheriff's division to the Cabarrus County Sheriff's Office in our area, and we also lowered taxes. So we did all of those things while delivering better services for the residents, and I can take that experience to Cabarrus County and do the same thing because I've been in government enough that I know where the levers are to pull. I love some of the great ideas up here, and I agree with them. But I'm in there right now, and I've hit the ground running. I've already made some major changes, and I know where to go next. So I appreciate your vote so that I can be up there for 5 years so I can get done what I really need to get done.
All right, you're good. You're good. I was gonna say, everyone's done, so you can clap. All right, so now this is where we're gonna do the lightning round. I'm gonna ask 10 questions, and each one's gonna have a paddle, yes or no, thumbs up, thumbs down. And if a particular candidate would like to speak a minute about why they're voting a particular way, yes or no, they will give in their chip, and then they'll have their time to speak, and we'll go from there. All right, so question number 1. Should Cabarrus County prioritize commercial and industrial growth over high-density housing?
Hold them high, please.
All right, so I believe we've got 5 green and 2 red, okay? Yes or no? Would you be supportive of a special zoning request to welcome a private-public partnership to build a new casino and hotel at the Concord Mills exit? All right. Number 3, again, any of you want to speak, you can. Do you believe Cabarrus County should partner with municipalities to slow residential growth until school and road infrastructures catch up? All right, number 4. Oh, sorry. Oh, go ahead, sir. Sorry.
So I've had to give 3 talks, 3-minute talks, and that's one of the things that I've been talking about is collaborating with the municipalities and changing the unified zoning ordinance that will lower or make kind of cut multifamily housing down and increase the individual families, homeowners. I believe in life, liberty, and property. No, it's life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And the pursuit of happiness is life and property, and having property. And that's one of the things I've said every time I've talked, and I'm going with it today too.
All right, thank you. Sorry about that. Number 4. Would you welcome State Auditor Dave Bullock and his government efficiency team to study Cabarrus County because he practically lives in Mecklenburg County? Okay. Number 5. Oh, didn't see it. Sorry. Just raise your hand because I'm not seeing the chips for it. Sorry.
So not only would I support that, but we actually have a similar committee in Cabarrus County, and it's been dormant for some time. And my goal, and I believe you'll see that at the next work session or regular meeting, is to restart that, to lead that committee, and to get back on track, creating those efficiencies so that we can reduce our budget, which ultimately means reducing your tax dollars.
I believe that Doge committee was started as a personal attack on me and my business. I guarantee it was. Years ago, there were text messages spread around that said that if we got a control of the board, that we were going to go in and fire Mike Downs. Guess what happened? Mike Downs was fired. Guess whose name was also on that list? Crystal Swayze's name was on that list. So last October, FOIA requests were started to be made regarding companies that did custom apparel. Well, guess what? Nobody's ever heard of that before. And then guess what? Multiple FOIA requests were done against my business. Just because I speak my mind and support the people of Cabarrus County who need to be stood up for, I have been attacked and attacked and attacked. No business owner in Cabarrus County or ever needs to be done that way. So the Doge committee has been lame because nothing got decided off of it after my business was attacked on the corruption page.
We have another comment?
So yes, we do need Doge, we do need auditors, and the reason we need them is because the establishment politicians and their friends keep getting rich and the taxes keep going up. Again, nobody is mad about her tablecloths. What we are upset about is that we are paying taxes upon taxes upon taxes and we're not seeing the value in return. So if we want to know why you're mentioned in all the FOIAs, you're on Facebook bragging about how your business thrived during COVID for making PPE when families in schools were struggling. You want to talk about why you were FOIA'd. Well, let's see. You brag about being on the COVID task force and making decisions to mask our kids and shut schools down while your business thrives. One can only wonder why you would vote that way, ma'am.
We have another comment down here. Mr. Bailey.
First off, I find it hard to understand how the people sitting on this board are expected to have conversations with people that don't always agree with us when we're yelling at them and we're being obnoxious. That's one of the things right now that I want to address. Number 2, I find it awfully ironic that we have real estate agents who are telling us that the taxes are going up. That's because the appraisals are going up. The tax rate did not go up, it went down. Okay? So home prices keep going up. approximately 80% of the homes that are listed in Cabarrus County are listed above the tax value. If those tax values were bloated, how are they selling so quickly? Okay, so let's have some decorum and quit yelling and screaming. We all know that you're bad, but we get it. Let's just keep some decorum up here, please.
All right. Number 5. I have donated, operated, or participated in a PAC, a political action committee, or a nonprofit active in working against other Republicans in Cabarrus County elections. Okay, we've got one. Okay. Number 6. Should the General Assembly make reforms to how Cabarrus County property taxes are administered? Okay.
Let's be clear, we live in a Dillon rule state, which means that the rules that local government can impose, ordinances, things like that, are only allowed by what the state allows us to do. In other words, you can do X, Y, and Z. It's not you can do whatever you want, which would be a home rule state like some other states. So the reason I answered yes is because I want to work with them to make sure that we are administering taxes in a way that is fiscally responsible. The reason they've taken this issue up is because some major places are doing way worse than we are. And that needs to be fixed statewide so that statewide taxes can go down too. So I'm an equal opportunity tax lowerer, state, local, municipality, county.
All right, number 7. The purchase of the ACN building and land was a wise investment for Cabarrus County taxpayers. Mr. Bailey?
So yes, there was an appraisal and the county did pay more than the building was worth. But what's never discussed when that conversation comes up is that the county had to find a building that was large enough to allow DSS to move to it. It had to have the proper parking spaces to allow not only for employees, but visitors. Otherwise, any other properties that were available inside the city limits of Concord required a parking deck. The total cost of the project, although they paid more for the building, the total cost of the project was less than if they went out, acquired property, did the site work, built the building and a parking deck. They saved you money, they did not waste your money.
You're in the city limits.
Would you support an incentive package to help bring a charter vocational trade school to Cabarrus County? Yeah. Would you support an incentive package to help bring a charter vocational trade school to Cabarrus County? Good. Cabarrus County should help fund economic development staff at, oh, sorry, yes, sir. Go ahead, sorry, Mr. Gardner.
I think, one reason I said no is simple. I don't see where the county has the budget to do that. What we need to do is build relationships with business owners already in our county to provide those job training opportunities. We also need to work with our representatives in the state, such as Ms. Chavera, to make job training skills mandatory in our high schools. We must have a new generation of workers that are ready to join our workforce, whether or not they decided to go to college after graduating high schools. Those are invaluable skills that should be mandated in all the public high schools.
Number 9, Cabarrus County should help fund economic development staff at the EDC. Yes, sir, Mr. Gardner.
So I believe we We pay too much in taxes right now to provide the tax breaks to multi-billion-dollar corporations such as Eli Lilly, which has a market capitalization of over $1 trillion. Red Bull is getting very close. We've had other companies come in, get those tax incentives, and then failed to deliver on those promises. We have to lower taxes, ease the county's proximity to an international airport, and the financial capital of the Southeast as the selling point for companies to come here, not tax incentives.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Bailey, we're not, you have two for this particular session of the two reds. That's why there's red, that's why they're red and blue. No problem. And finally, yes, Ms. Swayze.
So back to the incentives. The Eli Lilly project was originally going to be 4,000 homes. They were going to build 4,000 homes on that parcel. And do you know what that would have cost us? We would have had to build more schools, hire more sheriff's deputies, and provide water. The problem was the water. They didn't have the water usage for the Wasatch. So with the incentive, with Eli Lilly, they were looking at places all over the country. We were extremely blessed that they chose us. Versus the 4,000 homes where we would be spending money on the daily, we then got money to come here. Last year, Eli Lilly brought $7 million into Cabarrus County. That was farmland before. It was not raising money and bringing it to the taxpayers of Cabarrus County. So they will get an incentive, they'll get an 85% discount for 10 years. But they haven't met that incentive plan yet. They have to hire the certain number of people, build the certain things, and it's not done yet. I'll take that money every day.
Number 10. Oh, yes.
So in terms of incentives, everybody wants jobs. Everybody wants livable wages. The reality of the fact is that a livable wage is no longer $50,000 a year. And when you pull Eli Lilly's annual salaries, that's the average you get. None of us can live on $50,000. We're struggling. And so that 85% that we're giving away sure would help this county. What my opponents fail to talk about when they say that they're paying their tax bill is 85% of it gets put away and can't be touched or used. That doesn't help us today, and the taxing on our citizens is happening today. We are in dire, dire need of slowing down, and we've got to quit giving away our money. Anyone would come here for 85% tax break, and that's why we need to negotiate lower. I'm for getting rid of them at all. If you want to be here, come be here. We're not going to be bought by you.
Number 10. I agree that it was important to do a national search to hire a new county manager. Okay. All right, so here we go now. During the second round, each candidate will be asked a question. They will have 2 minutes to answer the question. And any other candidate wishing to add a comment to the question, use one of your blue chips that are in front of you. You will have 1 minute for their additional remarks. So we'll just start down here with Mr. Bailey. Let's go right down the line here. So Mr. Bailey, Cabarrus County's budget has nearly doubled in the last 5 years. Do you believe this rate of spending is sustainable? And what is your recommendation for controlling the long-term costs or raising revenue?
So when you look at budgets, you look at your household budget, you look at the county budget, they're no different. Inflation costs. Inflation has a lot to do with the county budget going up every year. Okay? Again, just like your household budget. The fact of the matter is, are there things that can be cut? I'm sure there are. I've not taken a deep nosedive into the budget, but I'm quite certain, like every budget, there are things that you can cut. What I have been hearing and what I'm trying to prevent is for us to say, hey, instead of looking at and having to make major cuts, austerity measures. Let's start looking at how we can increase our revenue through having commercial development come to Cabarrus County. There's a really interesting stat that I share with people. Union County has 20,000 more people, citizens living in Union County than Cabarrus, yet they have $11 billion more in assessed tax value. Why is that? 20,000 people don't account for $11 billion. It's because they've improved and had a lot of economic development in their county. So yeah, there are certainly things that you can cut out, maybe some redundancy, long-time vacancies. There are things that you can do. However, the austerity measures that I've been hearing bounced around out in the ether, those are things that I'm not going to be in support of because we have worked so hard in this county to have the best parks, the best infrastructure, we've got a fantastic county, and I don't want to see us lose those things to make political talking points. The fact of the matter is we can do our best to cut spending as much as possible, but still look to increase our revenue through economic development, through commercial growth.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Mr. Gardner, rather.
So, our county, according to the North Carolina Housing Coalition, 28% of our residents are cost burdened, meaning that they spend more than 30% on housing costs. This can't continue to happen. Our county is nearly $100 million in debt, with a projected additional deficit of $13.7 million in the upcoming fiscal year. How is this possible when our county has seen such immense economic activity in recent years with companies like Eli Lilly and Red Bull coming in? We have to find ways to cut down on redundant roles, consolidate departments such as finance and the investment/asset management departments together, make budgeting simpler, and find ways to lower taxes.
All right, thank you. All right, yes, sir. Mr. Richards.
I'll break this down to your household. You know good and well the best and quickest way for you to save income is to cut. We're going to cut expenditures. That's first. And then, if we can get revenue to increase from a different area other than property tax, then maybe we can make it happen. Otherwise, we're going to cut property tax too. But you know the best way to find money is to cut.
Yes, ma'am.
I agree with Mr. Bailey on that point. What I do want to put out, and just for those that want to look after, this is the last 3 years of budgets plus other facts and data you're more than welcome to look at. Between 2024 and 2026, our population grew 3.5%. Inflation during that same time averaged 3% a year. But during that same time frame, our county spending grew more than 21% in just 2 years. That is not an inflation problem. That is not a population growth problem. That is a spending spree during COVID funds. We have to stop the bleeding first before we can perform surgery and save our county.
Mr. Bailey would like to put in a chip for rebuttal.
So when you look at that increase, first, the county board was unanimous when they approved a pay study increase for the first responders. Okay, that was a 30% pay increase to get them up to the market. That's where most of that came from. So when you start talking about cuts, I hear cuts. What are you cutting? Okay, what are you cutting? That's what they tell you what you want to hear in this room, and they say, oh, we're going to cut. Tell us what you're going to cut. Otherwise, don't bring it up, because unless you have some novel idea that no one else knows of, what are you going to cut? Where are you going to make significant impact?
Mr. Conrad.
Yeah, James, you make some good points. Looking at this, at the county budget, about a third of it goes to Cabarrus County school systems. And we all heard last Thursday night, from the candidates running from school board and how important that is. But I've looked at that budget, I've studied that budget, and there are areas that I believe we can shave $3 to $5 million off without impacting school safety or school instruction. For example, we spend over $5 million in electronics, Chromebooks, and smart boards for these schools. That's great for the middle and high schoolers, but the elementary schoolers, they need to use pen and paper and learn how to write like we all did when we were in school. So there are areas that can be cut without having negative impacts on the populace. And so I think it's just going to take a hard look and some tough decisions have to be made.
Mrs. Hughes again.
Everybody thinks that when you say cuts, you're talking about cutting jobs or cutting people's positions. Mr. Bailey, you make some really good points, and I did come because I do my homework. Vacancies. Right now, the county has $9 million in budgeted positions sitting vacant. Those positions, $1 million in county budgeted funds, have been vacant for over a year. You also have wasteful spending, like we like to talk about that not just as a talking point. Travel and education, more than $2.2 million was spent. Dues and subscriptions, $920,000. And in fact, we saw a 16% increase overall and a 24% spike in travel spending in a single year. Sir, there are ways to cut the budget without cutting jobs and taking away from benefits for our employees.
All right, so question number 2 will go to Mr. Conrad. With thousands of new residents moving to Cabarrus County each year, spillover from Mecklenburg County, how should the county manage residential and commercial development to keep that charm that Cabarrus County has and the character while still attracting jobs and businesses? Yep. So with thousands of new residents moving to Cabarrus County every single year, how should the county manage residential and commercial development while still attracting jobs and businesses?
Well, I think people move to Cabarrus County because we live in one of the greatest counties in North Carolina. And so it is attractive to outsiders. However, residential growth will put more strain on the community than economic development will. And so I think that we need to slow down residential growth as much as possible while still attracting the right people, but we do that by providing the economic opportunities that will attract that will build the jobs and attract the people that we want to have living here. We need jobs that are high wages, high paying, and also furthermore even develop that from the school system and the community colleges here that develop workforce readiness. All those things together will help build an economy that I think that we all can thrive and work well in.
Ms. Swayze.
So the growth isn't happening necessarily out in the county, it's happening in the municipalities. So what we need is to have discussions and talks and collaboration within the municipalities, because the municipalities are where that growth is happening. We're not building a 4,000 neighborhood home out in the middle of Midland. They're building down there, but not in the county areas. They're happening in the municipalities. So what needs to happen is we need to talk to the municipalities because they're letting the growth happen. Then the school systems are taking the brunt of that, and they're having to have to build schools, and then it falls onto the county because we're having to pay for everything. So what needs to happen is we need collaboration within all the municipalities.
Mr. Gardner? Oh, I'm sorry, yes, go ahead, since the microphone's already down there, go ahead.
Yeah, on the budget, I think I'm the only one up here that has actually reduced taxes and reduced the budget. And while I like the ideas here, I think we need a real good county manager to make that happen. We did the same thing in Harrisburg. We didn't give any incentives, okay? So there's all this talk about incentives. We didn't have to do that. You know why? Because Harrisburg's a great place to be, and so is Cabarrus County. So I think we need to keep doing that. I actually am on the Board of Commissioners, and I'm in there working every day to save the budget. I had a plan to save $3 to $5 million, and they threw a tantrum over it and had it ripped away from us, okay? On residential growth, because all of this is related, I'm also the only one up here that's reduced residential growth, and we did it by 96% in Harrisburg. And so if you want someone that's going to hit the ground running, that is already in there proving themselves and not just giving you political promises, I'm the one you need to vote for.
Mr. Mr. Gardner?
So, growth is inevitable, and it has its positives and negatives. It comes with job growth, but it also puts immense strain on our roads and aging infrastructure. Our sewer system is near capacity, and our roads are falling into disrepair. We have to work with our municipalities to institute moratoriums on large developments such as the proposed Concord Farms development, and discourage companies like American Homes for Rent from buying property in the county. This does two things. It allows us time to work with our state leaders to build and expand our infrastructure so that it can safely handle anticipated growth. It also stops home prices from being artificially inflated when companies build homes simply to rent them out.
Thank you. Mr. Gardner, keep the microphone, please. Oh, I'm sorry, you want to?
Yeah, well, then it started here, so I didn't even get a chance to respond to that.
No, I mean, you got the first question.
He got the first question. He wants to respond to my question. I'm sorry. I thought we were all getting.
No. Sorry about that. All right, Mr. Gardner, your question is this. Housing affordability is becoming a big-time challenge. Should the county join with the city of Concord and the other municipalities to take steps to encourage more workforce or starter homes, or should this just remain entirely market-driven?
Well, I think there are two ways to go about this. One, you do have to let the market do what it's going to do to a certain extent. But when prices inflate as quickly as they have for the last 5 years, eventually that creates a market bubble that's going to burst and really trouble our residents. We saw this in 2008, and it's very likely to occur again. So we have to work with our municipalities to institute moratoriums against multifamily housing and large development until our infrastructure catches up and we have the economic activity to support the growth. Growth cannot be forced upon us, and we cannot let housing prices be artificially inflated by companies seeking built-to-rent neighborhoods or buying existing homes to rent them out.
Thank you. All right, so this next question will be for Ms. Hughes. Under state law, counties are responsible for providing energy crisis services, screening, assessment, referral, and service coordination for mental health issues through a local managed care organization. The county did purchase the ACN property to build and operate a regional mental health facility, even though it was not statutory required to do so. Was this investment necessary, considering the projected long-term deficit?
I don't think anyone in this room or any Republican at heart or any Christian would say we don't want to build facilities or have facilities that will help our mental health professionals. The reality is that we do have beds right now at a state level that are ready to go, but we don't have staff to actually run those facilities. We have resources on a state level right now to handle this, and we don't have those facilities. The issue with the ACN building is that the fact of the matter is that appraisal said that the value of that building was $21 million and some change. It said it needed about 15 to 20 million in upfitting and repairs. So what is that? We are already at 40 million. No furniture, nothing in there. When you look at that appraisal, what that appraisal said is the replacement cost, meaning the cost to build it new, would be $54 million. You add $3 million in land value, I'm sorry, that's a lot less than the $85 million Steve Morris quoted to the LGC. This wouldn't be an issue if those emails didn't prove that Steve Morris, Mike Downs, and Rodney Harris colluded together to lie to the LGC. And unfortunately, they got it away with it. That will not happen under my watch. I work with builders every day, and as Mr. Bailey pointed out, I am in real estate. I had 5 different bids. Guess what? They all came between $150 and $300 price per square foot to build new. And guess what? That quote that Mr. Steve Morris said was, it was about $600. It would not cost $85 million to $130 million to build a building in Cabarrus County that would fit what we need for our behavioral health services. Now, if you want shiny, new, best of everything, it might go up to 60, 80 million, possibly. But as we see outside, my $10 tablecloth from Amazon has held up for 15 years too. Guess what? I got it when I got married. You don't have to spend more money to have nice things.
Mr. Patrick?
So both of the last 2 questions are in my wheelhouse, right, as an architect. So in terms of housing and affordability, I don't think the government should be in the business of subsidizing housing at all, first of all. But actually, this is just a buzzword that people throw around. Nobody can actually talk about what housing affordability really is. Give me a number, I guarantee you I can go on Zillow right now and I can buy a house for that much, okay? I believe it's a political buzzword and we need to be really careful about it. That's the first thing. In terms of the ACN building, I do think it was a bad deal. I'm glad you brought up cost per square foot. $600 of cost per square foot is pretty normal right now. But here's what they did wrong. The government should be building buildings in a recession when you can get them on sale. That's what I advise my government clients to do. If you can live with this right now, wait, it'll be 50% cheaper later. You don't need it right now, right? You're gonna have the tax revenue at some point. Start saving away for it now, wait for a recession, buy the building at half cost, and put people to work when they're laid off from their jobs. That's the smart way to do it. Nobody does it that way. I don't understand.
Mr. Conrad? Mr. Conrad?
So I just want to clarify a couple things. The ACN building, again, I don't agree with that purchase for the record, but the ACN building is the future home of the Department of Social Services. There's a new building under construction right next door to it called the Steve Morris Behavioral Health Center. That is a new construction that's costing the taxpayers, I think it's like $23 million. The total cost, I think, is around 50 plus million. We got some funding from the state of North Carolina to help offset that. But again, to the point some of these other candidates have made, in a recessionary period and when we have looming priorities with our school system, I don't think it's wise to be spending $55 million on a behavioral health building in Cabarrus County.
Mr. Bailey?
Here again, this is all that you've heard up here, and there's been some decent points, but the current landlord of where DSS is currently located, that lease, if I'm not mistaken, ends in 2027. Every time that lease is up for renewal, he wants a new parking lot, he wants a new roof. That costs millions of dollars that we've placed into that building on a recurring basis every time that lease is up. They did not have the time to have this purchase made and to try to get this building furnished and get it upfitted for DSS. Before that lease, they were trying to get it in before the lease was due, so we did not have to sink money into a building that the county did not own. Again, could things have been better? Certainly, but still the total cost of this project, including all the savings that you had going into this building that the county did not own, it saved the county money over the long haul.
Thank you. Mr. Swayze?
So with the ACN building, so currently it's in Kannapolis. Part of the process was to get it closer, closer to Midland, closer to Mount Pleasant, closer to Harrisburg, to be more in the center of the county. And most importantly, those guys sitting back in the back of the room who work for the sheriff's department, it also is beneficial for them because they are the ones who are transporting these people, and they also need a safer facility. A year ago, we had a shooting in the middle of the Kmart parking lot, which is the current DSS parking lot. It's not secure. The roof's leaking. They use Home Depot buckets in it. And so, yes, they did go and purchase the ACM building because it was a wise use of money. Take a drive down Copperfield Boulevard. Do you know how hilly it is? Do you see where it is currently? It was already graded land. The state was able to get the funding to use for the mental health facility, and the ACM building, if they had to build it from scratch and build a parking deck, it was going to cost roughly $120 to $150 million. I'll take that other $85 million every day. That's saving the Cabarrus County taxpayers money.
All right, this question is for Mr. Richards. County employees who elect to participate in the county's health care plan currently have a $750 deductible. When comparing plans, North Carolina state employees have a $1,500 deductible, twice as much. The average private sector deductibles are between $1,800 and $2,200. With a projected increase of $3.5 million in the budget, as an elected official, what actions would you seek to close the gap?
So I actually put a bid on the county health plan 30 years ago. I did not get it because something happened, because my bid was the same bid as somebody else, and I didn't get it. Well, I know the expenses go up. There are ways to maybe cut out some of the availability of some of the plans, and that would reduce the price. There is, like, I work for the state, I had to pay in income. There's just ways to do it. I don't know if they have an HSA card. That tends to be a way. The problem with HSA cards are that the actual benefits are really cut. So there are ways. I definitely would look into it. I've dealt with it before on a private sector, and I have also dealt with it as a town manager also in doing it, but not at the same area that Cabarrus County, because they got way more employees. But there's just ways you can study that and make it come to affordability. Do I have an exact answer? No, but it is definitely something we can look at.
Yes, Mr. Patrick.
So once again, I already had a $3 to $5 million plan to save us in insurance costs, and that wasn't changing anything about the benefits. That was just making sure that the waste, fraud, and abuse was stopping from the person who was providing our benefit services to begin with. If you want to cut further than that, yes, you should offer different options. The problem is everybody's basically offered a one-size-fits-all approach. We need like 3 to 5 different plans. The really young folks that don't want to spend a lot of money because they don't need to spend a lot of money on their health insurance costs when they're younger in their careers and aren't making a ton of money, want to spend the amount of money they're fine with a higher deductible because they're not using it as much, right? They need a lower monthly rate. So we weren't even offering stuff like this. It's this common sense approach that I just come in here and I feel like I want to pull more of my hair out than I'm already losing. You really just got to walk in there, step back and say, why are we doing this, guys? Like, this isn't making any sense. And just think of it from a logical perspective, and I think a lot of these problems will stop.
All right, this question is from Ms. Swayze. Do you feel that Cabarrus County should provide taxpayer incentives or tax breaks to attract major businesses? And if so, what criteria should the county use when considering economic development incentives?
So we all know I'm a proponent of economic development. Because when I was growing up, most of my classmates worked at Cannon Mills, their families did. So when Cabarrus County lost Philip Morris and Pillitex within the span of 6 years, we lost 6,000 jobs. That is hard-earned money, and that was no longer coming into those families' homes. Many of them lost their homes, and guess what? There are no jobs in Cabarrus County when you lose a job like making money that you were making at Philip Morris or Pillitex. So yes, I will and have fought to make sure that the residents of Cabarrus County will have jobs and a brighter future. When I left to go to Chapel Hill, I swore I was never coming back because we literally had no jobs here. People were having to go to Mecklenburg County and surrounding areas. So yes, Brett, I am a strong proponent of economic development. But the fact is I'm not a yes to everything. Half the economic development things that come before the commissioners, they've already been vetted by the EDC, the commissioners, and they've been talked through before they even come up, before there's some hidden name like Black Hawk Down, before it comes before a public meeting. So yes, I do agree with them, but the fact is you have to have certain criteria. You have to have a certain number of jobs. You have to have a certain number of the salary that they're going to make. And they're not going to get their economic development incentive until they've done that. Look at that Kroger building that was down off, used to be Terminal Trucking. How many people remember Terminal Trucking? I do. So Terminal Trucking is now what was going to be the Walmart and Kroger building there. They decided they weren't going to do that, their incentives. Guess what? We're still getting their tax dollars. That old, rusty old terminal building was torn down. They built a massive building, so now we have a spec building. Kroger's still going to be bringing that money to Cabarrus County until they sell that building and somebody takes it over.
Okay. A couple more questions here. Yes,
What's
Mr.
the
Gardner.
black one for? Is it another blue?
I believe so.
The last one.
Oh, the,
Your last one at Signature
yeah.
I'm up for that too. Because I get the last question. So.
Well, actually, Mr. Gardner, I believe, had, did you want to put in a chip? Yes, sir.
So I'm not for tax incentives for major corporations. I believe that we should use our county's close proximity to an international airport and the financial capital of the Southeast as a selling point for companies. Growth will happen regardless. But when we make major tax incentives to companies to come to our county, we increase the tax burden on our citizens, leaving some being taxed out of their homes. We cannot allow this to happen. Taking away tax incentives for large corporations will do two things. It'll ensure that the companies that really want to be here will come anyway, and it will give us time to slow growth and let our infrastructure catch up.
Yes, Mr. Patrick.
Yeah, it was one of the first things after I was appointed to the commission board was to rewrite the EDC incentives. And I rewrote them pretty thoroughly, and one of the biggest things I did was remove that 85%. I don't know why anybody would be giving up the farm up front, and many of those companies would come there for 10%, maybe zero. Harrisburg did it with zero, because as I said earlier, it's a great place to be. Right? We have lower taxes in the surrounding places. We have a better workforce in the surrounding places. We have relatively lower crime in the surrounding places. Why wouldn't a business want to be there? Here's my question. Why are the businesses with the huge $40 billion market caps the ones getting the breaks? Where's your break? Let's go. Where's mine? I'm a business. Nobody's offering me tax incentives. Again, can we get back to common sense here, guys? None of these people need that money. They're just taking it because we're offering it. Let's stop offering it.
Mr. Bailey would like to come in for rebuttal.
Well, I think it's interesting that Mr. Patrick talks about where's your break, because he sure hasn't given the break to the citizens of Harrisburg. June 20th, he voted for a non-revenue neutral tax increase. Look it up, folks. You're hearing things that are not true. Look it up. June 2021, he voted for a 2022 water sewer rate increase. Look it up. June 2022, voted for a tax rate increase plus a sewer and water increase. Okay, 2024, June, 2025 non-revenue neutral tax increase plus a water sewer rate increase plus a $10 solid waste increase. So that's 4 times he's raised expenses and taxes on the citizens of Harrisburg in 4 years. Okay, so ask him where the relief was for the citizens of Harrisburg.
Sorry, sir, you're out of chips. Sorry about that. You gotta know when to hold them and won't know when to fold them. All right. So, this last question is for Mr. Patrick. And then at the end, I'm gonna throw a curveball, and I've got another question that I want everyone to give a 1-minute response to. So, Mr. Patrick, what policies would you pursue to attract high-quality jobs, but also reduce regulatory burdens for local entrepreneurs?
So I've talked about this before, and it's one of those things because I'm in the business that I think the biggest roadblock for businesses coming to us right now are the review times for permits and other agency reviews. Mecklenburg County is the worst. I'm in a 6-month one right now. It's unbelievable. Cabarrus County's not much better, honestly. And we need to improve it so those businesses can get off the ground running as fast as they can do it. That's regulatory review side. On the tax increase that he brought up that I wasn't allowed to answer, I feel like I'm always fixing somebody else's problems. When I got into the office, the previous council had approved thousands and thousands of residential developments, but they didn't support the roads, they didn't support the sewers, and they didn't support our first responders. You know what that first tax increase went to? 100% of it went to the sheriff's department. Anybody mad about that? You can be mad about that. Went straight to the sheriff's department. And I noticed he conveniently left out that once I cleaned that place up, we lowered taxes last year. Excuse me, sir. I did what was right. I funded public safety, and once I cleaned up their mess, I've lowered taxes right back where they should be. I can did it in Harrisburg, and I'll do it again in Cabarrus County.
All right, so since you have the microphone down there, Mr. Patrick, what I want every candidate is I'm gonna, just like earlier in the lightning round, I'm gonna ask this question because I think this was such an important question. I want everyone to answer it. So everyone hold up your paddle whether you agree or disagree. This is just the one last question before we get to your closing statements. But I really do think this is a big question.
I have a question.
Yes.
For you.
Yes.
Are we allowed to use our red chip?
Well, no, actually everyone's gonna go down and everyone's gonna give a 1-minute answer on this question. And we're just gonna start with Mr. Patrick only because he has the microphone. So, but everyone hold up their paddles on this so everyone can see where you stand on this particular issue. The county provides a 12% local supplement to teachers in Cabarrus County schools. Should this supplement remain flat or be tied to performance metrics like benchmark assessments and grade level proficiency to incentivize better student outcomes? So the question is, should this supplement remain flat is the question at 12%. Okay, so now we're going to start with Mr. Patrick. So should this supplement be flat or should it be tied to the performance metrics and to incentivize better student outcomes?
So I think it should be tied to performance, and I say that as a person with 2 children in Cabarrus County schools. They are the teachers, addicted to technology that they're not teaching our children. I would love for my teacher to send my kid home with a piece of paper that says, here's the homework list for the week, and I can check them off and I can hold my own kid accountable. I have Parent Square and EduLog and 5 other different apps that I don't know what I'm doing with, and the kids don't know what they're doing with either, and they figured out how to just cheat the system. They just copy and paste on their Chromebooks. They're not learning anything, okay? They're not learning anything. So what I would do is tie it to performance metrics, so the ones that are teaching our kids get the most amount of pay, and the ones that aren't teaching our kids get docked pay so they leave. They can go somewhere else.
And I will say that right now, this is not a rebuttal to you, I'm just giving a statement of what's going on in Mecklenburg County with CMS. A lot of the things with CMS right now, with what they're doing for this, to try and get the grades up and everything else, they're taking exceptional children learning, the special teachers, taking them out of their classrooms to put them in, if you want to call it normal classrooms, to try and help boost the grades, while leaving the exceptional children to fend for themselves. And in a lot of different ways. Not solely, but in a lot of different ways. And those complaints that come from the inside because it's tied to incentives. So with that being said, Ms. Swayze, what are your thoughts?
So my mother taught at Weinkauf Elementary School for 31 years. I was basically raised in Weinkauf Elementary School. I can still smell the copy paper in Weinkauf Elementary School. Your kids are all very different. The children are not always great. So you'll have the EC kid sitting right next to your advanced child student. So then the teacher's having to take care of the EC child while also having to teach all the rest of the kids in the classroom. Our teachers need our support more now than ever. They've gone through COVID, they've lost their minds, these kids, and so like with Alexis, what she was saying about me supporting, all I wanted to do was get our kids back in the classroom back then. My kid was sitting in my office screaming because he was having his virtual hand raised up and he couldn't get his teacher to answer for 30 minutes. That's why our kids and our teachers need our support more than ever. No, we do not need to have
A performance-based, okay. All right, so then we'll go to Mr. Richards.
So the performance is good. I don't know if 11's good, 12's good, 13's good, so that's why I said no. I don't think we should be locked into the 12. But I do think that the Board of Commissioners needs to work with the school board way better than it has probably in the past. Tell them what our expectations are on the budget so that we can cut costs. I know it's a great word. That we're going to cut costs, even in the school board, and then have them come back and then we look at it, and maybe we can afford a 12.5, maybe we can, but in the end, we've just got to look at the whole government process and cut, and the municipalities need to do it also.
Ms. Hughes?
Our children are our future, so I think we can all agree that the teachers teaching them in the classrooms are deserving of pay. Deserving and earning, to me, are the same exact thing. I support performance-based metrics when giving these supplements out. There was a time about when I was 17, 18, we started giving out participation trophies for everybody and their mama. Well, guess what? Now nobody values coming in first place because you're going to get a trophy anyway. That is exactly what happens when you don't have performance-based metrics for these teachers. The lazy ones bring the good ones down, and as we saw in COVID, there's a lot of lazy ones out there. I am thankful the good ones outnumber them. Let's make sure we reward how great of a teacher they are by giving them more than the laziest ones on the block.
Mr. Gardner?
I think these incentives absolutely should be performance based. We give our county budget, over 25% of it goes to our schools. Over 50%, believe the number is 51% of our state budget goes to schools. Yet our kids are still behind in education. I'm at the age where they were still teaching cursive. The generation of kids behind me are not learning cursive. They're being taught all electronically. Many don't know how to sign a signature. We have to find ways to boost the quality of our education and do away with flat incentives. These incentives have to be performance-based with the progress of our students' quality of education in mind.
Thank you. Mr. Conrad.
Education is vitally important, and like Ms. Hughes said, children are our future, but I'll take that a step further. These children in Cabarrus County are our future leaders. And I believe that if we want to keep Cabarrus County strong and affordable, then we're going to have to raise up these future leaders, and we need to do that with performance-based metrics from these teachers. Yes, teachers need supplements, I agree, but maybe instead of it being a 12%, it's 6% with the opportunity to make 12 or even higher based on your performance. That will weed out the bad and enhance and incentivize the great teachers. And I think that we'll see better test scores, better workforce development readiness, and better future leaders of our county.
And Mr. Bailey.
So I will go to performance-based metrics when we stop getting teachers to have to send me 15 links to their Amazon marketplace so they'll have supplies for their classroom. When I stop getting those, I'll go with performance metrics. The fact of the matter is my daughter-in-law, people that I know that are teachers in this county, they are struggling to even get supplies for their classrooms. So yeah, I think they need to get a flat 12% supplement. Now, to the other point, when you put things on performance metrics, what happens is you have all the good teachers go to all the higher income areas, so because those parents that are in these poor neighborhoods, they do not have their kids, the structure for the kids at home like they do in the higher income areas. So what you're gonna have when you have performance metrics is all the good teachers flocking to the rich, nice neighborhood schools, and all the lower income schools are gonna be without quality teachers. And I'll also add this, to Mr. Patrick's point about his taxes. They loved it so much in Harrisburg, they voted him out in 2024.
All right, so, sorry, that's okay, sorry. Everyone's gonna get a 1-minute closing statement, and because the microphone, just like it was with Mr. Patrick, because the microphone's down here, we're gonna start with Mr. Bailey. 1 minute closing.
Yeah. You know, I've always told people through my years at the sheriff's office this, just be honest with people, just be truthful. I've said it here tonight and I've not hid from anything, okay? I'm not hid from a thing. Yet, because I got endorsed by Steve Morris, who is the sitting mayor of Concord, I had people on social media that were chastising me, okay? Because I got an endorsement from somebody. The fact is we've gotten so hyper-political, and you can hear it in the boos and ahs and everything that's going on in this room. The fact of the matter is we've gotten so hyper-political in this county that the county commission, the board, they don't take your interest at heart. They're giving you talking points and sound bites and all these things that make you feel good. And we'll see when the rubber meets the road who's going to get up there and do a good job for you, be honest with you, tell you the hard facts that you may or may not want to hear. But I'll be always honest with you. And I'll stand by that. I have no problem at all talking with you and telling you straight to your face what the hard facts are. Thank you very much, and I hope I get you.
Mr. Conrad.
Government doesn't spend its own money. It spends yours. It spends ours. And that means we have to be careful with every single dollar. I'm running to balance the budget, protect those tax dollars from waste, and manage growth so it doesn't come back on the taxpayers later. Cabarrus County is growing extremely fast, and growth, that can be a really good thing, but only if it's planned well. Our roads, schools, and services have to be kept up before we approve more growth and more spending. When the county brings in more revenue, the priority should be fixing and maintaining what we already have before building something new. As a marketing professional, I've spent my career building and managing budgets and making sure spending stays aligned with the priorities, and that's the same approach I'll bring to the Board of Commissioners. So if you want a proven, steady leadership that puts taxpayers first, then I appreciate your vote.
Mr. Gardner.
I'll just say this. For years, we've been told that, don't worry, the government's going to take care of you. And we take that at face value. Majority of Americans only come to the polls once every 4 years to vote on the new president. And you wonder why government has become so large and overreaching. Our founding fathers believed in government for the people, by the people, and of the people. With my background in finance, I wanted to bring back fiscal responsibility, government accountability, and boost community engagement. But I can't do it without input from citizens and cooperation from the other commissioners. And I certainly would be a fool to promise you something I cannot ensure I can deliver. But I encourage you to reach out and vote for me in the primary. Thank you.
Ms. Hughes?
So anyone up here running that is not running passionately, I won't vote for them. I want you to be passionate about the people of this county. What is called a political talking point to some is important to our taxpayers. We saw that overwhelmingly when Steve Morris was voted out, only for one of our opponents to sue our county in a political tantrum to get their chosen person in. La Marie was amazing. She was wonderful. She would have served well. There was no reason for that other than petty disagreements. So yes, I want your vote. Yes, I am passionate. Nothing I say is a political talking point. It's what the voters say is important to them, and you deserve to know where I stand. Cutting taxes, lowering taxes, stopping growth, and calling out hypocrisy, that's not political talking points. It's called being honest, and God told me to be honest, and God gave me this mouth. I plan to use it. Vote for Alexis Hughes, cabcovotes.com. Thank you all for being here tonight.
Mr. Richards?
Thanks for all of y'all coming, spending your time here. I know you could have chosen a different place, but you came here. I don't think I had my best day today, but I don't think I had my worst. But what I do want you to know is I'm going to cut, and there are 3 commissioners sitting in here right now, unless one of them did leave, evidently. But there's 3 of you here, and I want to get that chance. After you cut this year, I'm going to be the next one that's going to help you cut even more. Because I know how to look at a budget. I thank you for your time. I need your vote.
Ms. Swayze?
Thank you. I hope I earned a few votes here this evening. I think that I have learned and grown through here in Cabarrus County. I've served Cabarrus County for 30, 40, 50 years throughout different agent groups with my Boy Scouts, my schools, my PTOs, and I want to continue to serve. And yes, I did sue Cabarrus County last year because if you're going to be a state senator, by God, you might as well know how a state statute works and what's legal and not legal. So it was illegal, so much so that Brett Jensen probably said Cabarrus County 500,000 times last year. So yes, I will protect Cabarrus County. It wasn't that I didn't think La Marie would do a good job. It just was not legal how it was supposed to be done. Chris should have left his office, then taken his old office, and then the remaining commissioners. That is state statute, and if you can't follow the rules, then you don't need to be holding office.
And finally, Mr. Patrick.
Yeah, I'm focused on you guys, right? And I have a record to run on. So you can look at what I did in the past and you can judge for yourself whether it was successful or not. We lowered taxes in Harrisburg, we strengthened the sheriff's office, and we reduced residential growth. I think that's what most of Cabarrus County is asking for. I think you want me to do the same thing. So if you put me in office, I will do the same thing. And these aren't political talking points, right? You don't have to take my word for it. I'm not promising anything that you can't go check right now. What am I doing right now at the Cabarrus County Board of Commissioners? I'm rewriting the EDC policy to reduce the subsidies we're giving. I rewrote the public comment policy so that it was a free speech policy. And I'm already trying to find savings, finding this health insurance saving for $3 to $5 million they threw a tantrum on and had ripped away from us. Did it in Harrisburg, doing it right now in Cabarrus County. I need some more time, but I guarantee you I can get us there. ENWPatrick.com. Thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you everyone for coming out here tonight. Don't forget that early voting is starting up and election day is March 3rd, so thank you to all the candidates and thanks for everyone coming out tonight.